Hey guys, I'm some random guy, and a couple of weeks ago there were some people talking about something called the Gifoie Parry over in PSO2 Discord. At first, I was wondering what was so special about the Gifoie Parry that stood out versus other PAs that would proc elemental bullets, because aren't they all the same? But I'm always keeping my eyes open for things that are relatively unknown, so I had to look into this as well. So, what exactly is the Gifoie parry, and why is it different from the other versions of elemental bullet parries? Normally, to have your Photon Arts proc elemental bullet, you need to parry an attack with the rod weapon action, and then it loads an elemental bullet that's ready to be fired with your next elemental PA. But what is different about Gifoie? Specifically uncharged Gifoie, is that it doesn't even need to use weapon action to fire off an elemental bullet. What some people realized was that there was built in invulnerability frames within the uncharged animation of Gifoie itself. And when you are hit during this state while you have Elemental Bullet in your skill tree, this will auto proc Elemental Bullet at the same time. So instead of using weapon action to load Elemental Bullet, then using a PA to fire off the Elemental Bullet, you can just load and fire Elemental Bullet in one action using Gifoie Parry. What? That's awesome! Now, the timing window of the iframes in the Gifoie parry is relatively small compared to the bigger window of weapon action parry. The iframe timing actually reminds me of Spear's Avenger iframes because when I use that same timing on the Gifoie parry, I tend to be a lot more consistent. Luckily, I'm a Partesian main, so that made me grasp the timing pretty quickly. And also, similar to the spear, the parry also doesn't seem to be able to animation cancel other actions, unlike how rod weapon action can. So this forces you to really know your target's attacks and to know when to stop actions before doing any Gifoie parries. This is exactly the playstyle of a spear main looking for a counter. As the topic of Gifoie Parry went on in the Discord, there were people who said that Gifoie Parry is the highest DPS option of all the rod's PAs. I assumed this was because Gifoie Parry didn't need weapon action to load elemental bullets like the rest of the PAs do. I mean, on paper, this sounds correct, but through a week of practicing with my alliance, we found something interesting. When I got the timing down, Gifoie parry felt like this could be faster than weapon action parry, but then my alliance leader, Ration, sent me a video of them really animation canceling the heck out of their Barta bullets. It made it seem like the difference between well-timed Gifoie parry and weapon action parry counters weren't too far apart. I still feel like there's something missing here, and it's not about asking you to press the like button, but that would help show me that this video was somehow useful to you in some way. So parry that like button. What I'm missing was that Eden was saying to use Gifoie parry, then attack with the target's elemental weakness, and I have to try that out. This is where Gifoie implementation starts to have a high skill ceiling. Once you start to use the target's actual weakness, if they aren't weak to fire, you are now adding in moments where the PAs don't have iframes and you can't animation cancel out of them with Gifoie. So the timing windows to use this counter will only be after your animations have stopped. This forces you to literally think 2 or 3 steps ahead of what your target is going to do, as well as timing your own attack cycles to end at exactly the same time. Because if you don't know when to end your attacks, if you stand and wait for an attack, you won't be helping bring the target to an elemental downstate for those few seconds. And when you finally Gifoie parry, it won't contribute to an elemental down. But if you're hitting Gifoie parry at optimum times while continuously weaving in elemental weaknesses or even physical downs, this could be the most optimum way of playing. Now, Gifoie parry isn't the end all be all, but this definitely is going to be a useful tool for you to add to your arsenal. Weapon action is still going to be a very strong mechanic, so I feel like when someone does master this tech, they will be weaving weapon actions and Gifoie parries where they can make the most of either one. This was my first New Genesis video. If there's anything I could improve on or something you would like to know, let me know in the comments. There's going to be a lot more topics I have in mind, so I'll see you guys later.